to Let's Play Civilization 3, Play the World, Episode 38. As you remember from our last episode, we ended by making peace with the Celts, thereby ending over 20 episodes of back-to-back and overlapping wars. Now, we have peace for the first time since then, and we can now concentrate on building our infrastructure as well as advancing our tech. So, just a few loose ends to tie up from the war. Moving my troops back from enemy territory back to home. So now that those people are all in place, or mostly, there are still wars going on in the world, just none that involve me. So you can see the Celts and the Koreans are still fighting, and the Chinese and the Celts are still fighting. But as you can see, the Celts are now moving out of my territory since the war is done, and their workers are now okay with going up to that source of coal and building a road there. And here we have to sit and wait as the Mongol soldiers go across my territory and across the Celtic territory on their way to Germany. Which, there is a way to stop it and to skip it, but I chose not to do it. It also gives you an opportunity to see just how many troops they have and how many troops they can be sending. And I've always thought of the Mongols as a little bit weak, but they look pretty strong actually, so I probably don't want to mess with them just yet. Now, what I do here, usually after war ends, I wait one turn, which is now, and then I say okay for everything here, go to my capital city, and look at all my cities one by one, and adjust their production to peacetime. You see most of my cities are building cavalry and such. I'm going to build things like hospitals and factories. This is my peacetime transition. And it usually takes a little bit, but it's very worth it. Because otherwise I still get behind and I get a bunch of extra cavalry. And unless someone else attacks me in the near future, I actually don't want to build that many more cavalry. I would rather just wait until we get tanks, because they're a much more formidable offensive unit. As you can see, don't know if I told you this yet, but the long bar of red shields under where it says production, that is corruption. The further the city's out from the capital, the more corruption it has. And this game is very unforgiving about corruption. You could be only 2 or 3 cities away from your capital and have more red shields than blue. And in many of the territory that we captured from the Japanese, we only have 1 blue shield and a whole host of red shields. Now, I haven't played it, but I believe Civilization 4 fixes this problem, or at least I even heard it does away with the corruption idea altogether, which is very nice. I mean, corruption does have its place from keeping an empire that's large from growing unstoppable, since it's really only your core cities that are doing 75% of your production. But it's very annoying, and sometimes I think it's a little much. I think it would have been perfectly good if the most corrupt a city could get was maybe 3/4, meaning if you were producing 20 shields normally, corruption would take up 15 and you'd still be able to produce 5. So that city wouldn't be completely helpless, but it would be far from completely useful like your main cities. But this whole 1 red shield and 36 blue, or 1 blue shield and 36 red shields, I think is a bit ridiculous and a bit over the top. But, oh well. It's not that big of a deal. So I'm just choosing my production here. I mostly want to build hospitals. Now, what a hospital does, it allows you to build your city past size 12. Like aqueduct allows you to build past size 6. Hospital allows you to build size 12. Basically enables you to utilize the full growth potential of your city. It will grow until it can't grow anymore. And it's possible to have city sizes of up to 40. Now that's very uncommon. You'll almost never see cities in up to 40. Quite often in the upper 20s is the highest you'll get. Maybe the lower 30s for some cities. But I expect once my cities are fully mature, you'll see some that are in the lower to mid 20s. Maybe a couple that are in the upper 20s, but that's just about it. Our cities are a little close together, plus we don't have the floodplain too much in our territory, and that's really what gives a big growth. But I'm satisfied with that. Still makes a very productive cities. Right now that process is over, we're back to the Celts moving themselves around, and the Celts and the Koreans have just signed a peace treaty, as well as the Germans and the Koreans. So the Koreans are gone from fighting a 2-front war to having peace with everyone, which is nice, I guess, for them. I really didn't want the Koreans to be conquered. I want them to be able to help us, since they fought with us on every war we've had, at least the major ones. They're our eternal and thankful allies. But the only 2 wars going on now are the Mongols and the Chinese are still fighting the Germans. And that'll probably go on for a little while. But like I said, I don't mind. Give the Germans something to complain about. Well, that about wraps it up for this video. I will see you next time on episode 39.